shot. Everything is in the shot that it's supposed to be. What's going on, y'all? What's up, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun Show. We are here. Yeah, act like you know. So hold on. I decided to do a little something different today. Y'all know, normally, I'm gonna just let y'all see it. Let's have this talk today. Today we are talking about getting used to something, man. How long does it take you to get used to something that not only are you not used to, but you might not even really like it? Hey, growing pains, baby. Growing pains. We all have to adapt to something that we may not really like, or, gravitate to something that we might not even be feeling. But, yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Getting used to it. How long does it take to get used to it? Get used to it. How long does it take to get used to it? Get used to it. How long does it take to get used to it? Get used to it. How long does it take to get used to it? Get used to it. How long does it take to y'all know what it is. Yeah. And we are here. Yeah. We are here, baby. Everything will be all right. Shoot, truth be told, I know I'm the kind of man that takes some getting used to by everybody. Hey, you know you got some shit with you. Hey, I'ma roll with the punches and do my crunches. In the house, which y'all know. But she just bailed out. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Saturday from 1:30 p.m. till around 3:30-ish. And the reason that we say 3:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Saturday. And it is Saturday. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the and if you can't say Omar with the well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should today. Get my shit, man. I'm all disheveled. Today we are talking about getting used to it. Getting used to it. Getting used to what you might not even like. How long does it take you to get used to something that you're not even all that much interested in, or you may not be familiar with, or something that may be brand new? They just took the wrapper off of that thing. It still has the plastic cover on it. You know, like when you get a new phone or even a TV, sometimes a refrigerator or something like that, and they still got the plastic on there. Some of y'all leave the plastic on there a long time so it can still have that new feel. That new feel. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you know, when you are unfamiliar with a new product, a new device, a new machine, even if you have worked with something similar to it before, it doesn't mean that you will be used to the new thing that you have gotten. And there may be a little adaptation period, an adjustment period that you may have to go through in order to be able to use the thing effectively. Now, that could be a thing or it could be a person. Now, getting used to people is not an easy thing. Getting used to people is not an easy thing. Getting used to people is not an easy thing. I know that. That's why this song I sing, I said, getting used to people is not an easy thing. I said, sometimes it get hard. Make the bell ring and who the bell tolls for, you know what I'm saying, or yeah, you understand what I'm hitting for. Everything is gonna work out fine as you get used to me and I try to get used to mine. Yeah, the shine is gonna make sure it gets bright, but for right now it don't feel right. Is the game tight? Everything is okay. Yo, make sure the levels are making pay. Yo, we gotta collect the checks. The respect will come as long as we make sure they get some. Ain't none ever gonna try to front on me. Yeah, they tried it before, but I think they wanna be on my side, because that's what I would really suggest, because I'm not in this thing to pass a test. Yo, you try to give me a quiz. I know what time it is. I know the beats is rocking. I know the rhyme it is. It's something that you really want to hear up in your ear hole. Yeah. It feels good. So, yo, it's just so on this afternoon. We going to bingo some bongos and then do it. Okay, wait. T carry right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my peoples going directly into your site and access to Rome. What's good? What's good? How y'all feeling, man? All right. So we are talking about getting used to something that you might not like. Now, we have some examples. Y'all know we got examples. We got examples for days. Let me put away my hardware. Let me put my toys away. Let me put my toys away and let's have this convo. Shoo. Yeah. Getting used to what you might not like. Getting used to what you might not like. Now, I'm thinking that, you know, whenever you encounter something new, even if you think that is visually beautiful or something that's pleasing to your eyes, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out or work the way that you want it to work. It could be anything. Have you ever bought a pair of shoes? Now think about when you were younger and didn't have your own money. So the things that you bought had to last, you know, because you didn't have the option of just waiting until your next pay period or whatever. You weren't exactly controlling your own destiny. So, have you ever bought a pair of shoes that really didn't fit the way that you wanted them to fit, but they were the right brand for you? You wanted these shoes. Like, I don't care. I don't care if these things feel like the Dutch clocks. I mean, I'm sorry, the Dutch, those wooden shoes that we used to think that the Dutch wore on their feet. Those it's something with a C, isn't it? Clucks, Dutch. The hard the wooden Dutch shoes. They're modeled like the what are those ugly ass shoes that everybody wears now? And they like super comfortable, but they made like those Dutch whatever. I don't know. All of a sudden I can't remember what anything is. I'm talking about those those they look like clogs. That's the word. Thank you, Spartacus. Clogs. The Dutch clogs. But what are those shoes? What are those shoes, sandals, whatever that everybody wears? I mean, I don't wear them, but everybody wears them in the everybody wears them in hospitals and stuff like that. They real comfortable. You know what I mean? Like women swear by them. Some men wear them. They ugly as shit, but they like real comfortable. You know what I'm talking. They look like a wiffle ball on top, and the clogs look like that, like those. The clogs look like those. Anyway, what are they called, y'all? What are they called? All right. Anyway, so if you've ever bought a pair of shoes that you really had to get used to, you know what I mean? Like when you try them on, you know what sneakers come to my mind? Shell top Adidas. Back in the day, everybody wore shell top Adidas. All of my friends, it was a status symbol. Shell top Adidas. The first time I tried on a pair of shell top Adidas, I was like, so let me get this straight. Everybody who's wearing these, they feel like this? It felt like I was walking on shell top Adidas and Chuck Taylors. I'm like, it feels like I'm walking on the I'm like I'm walking barefoot on concrete. Wasn't a good look at all. Wasn't a good look at all. But like this is the style. So I rocked out with those shell top Adidas. And I was thinking like, after a while, they didn't feel so bad, but they never felt good. They didn't feel so bad, but they never felt good. You understand what I'm saying? But it took a while to get used to them. More than 4 or 5 wears. More than 4 or 5 wears. Now, luckily, when I was buying shell top Adidas and shit like that, I had a job. So I could buy sneakers whenever I wanted to buy sneakers. I could buy a pair of sneakers every week if I wanted to. Because I had an after school job. I was doing okay as a teen. But, if I had to wait on my mom, then I would have just had to get used to those shoes. I would have had to get used to those sneakers. I would have had to get used to those tennis shoes. I would have had to get used to those. I would have had to have gotten used to those kicks. Thank God I didn't have to. What is the name of those shoes, man? Nobody still has said the name of those little plastic rubbery shoes. Some of them have the strap in the back. I think they all have the little strap in the back. All right. Y'all kind of quiet today. Everybody acting like they don't feel like responding or they don't know what I'm talking about. That's all right. The name is going to come to me. You know what I mean? Crocs. Thank you. God damn. Took forever. Yes, Crocs. Yes, Crocs. Crocs remind me of the Dutch shoes, but just real I mean, people say that Crocs are like crazy comfortable. I've never even tried on a pair of Crocs, but I'm not gonna lie, they look comfortable. They're just too ugly for me to wear. Plus, to me, to be honest with you, they look a little too feminine. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right, so yeah, the Crocs. Pair of Crocs don't seem to be the type of shoes that anybody takes a long time to get used to. But shoes like shell top Adidas, shoes like Chuck Taylors, shoes like, I don't know if y'all had a pair of Gucci sneakers back in the day, but my Gen Xers know that the original Gucci sneakers were actually very comfortable. The original. So you had the canvas ones, and then they came out with the all leather Gucci sneaks. Those were comfortable. The ones that they came out with after that, the originals were good. Everything after that, ass. And that's around the time when they stopped making, Gucci sneakers or whatever. I was like, yeah, y'all need to stop making them after this debacle. It was a debacle. But anyway, moving right along. So if you've ever had a pair of shoes that you had to get used to, and you made yourself get used to them because you really like the shoes, or you spent a lot of money for them. You know how that goes. When you're younger, you're spending money on that you probably should be saving, but it may have taken you a while to get used to a pair of shoes that you bought. Shout out to all my people in Detroit wearing those crocodiles, them Crocs, and them the real Crocs, not the rubbery, but the skins, the Gators, the Crocs, ostrich, you know what I'm saying? Some of those shoes were comfortable. Most of them were hard bottom shoes. And so every man knows, what them hard bottom shoes are about. Ladies with those high heels, they don't even look comfortable. So women who get comfortable in high heel shoes, more power to you. But I know that it had to take some time. It had to have taken some time before you got used to wearing the high heels, because they look like they hurt. They look like they are putting a lot of stress on your calves. Your balance is coming into question. You know what I mean? It looks like on some other shit. Spartacus says facts. They are ugly. Exactly. But I work in a hospital. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see Crocs all the time, and people swear by them. I'm like, why not just get a pair of Skechers? Skechers are always comfortable. I don't care what. Skechers don't even have the ability to make an uncomfortable shoe. It's like they've cornered the market. Like, comfort is our thing. Remember Rockports back in the day? Rockports was the ugliest shoes. But I'd be damned if them things wasn't super comfortable. I just never bought a pair of Rockports because to me they look like handicap shoes. They look like one shoe should have a stack way bigger than the other shoe. Hold on, man. This tea ain't sweet enough. This ain't gonna get it. And I was using this. I'm using this raw cane sugar instead of honey. And this is when you realize it takes a lot more sugar than honey. You realize how much of a sweetener honey is in comparison to other sugar or sweetener. Now this is raw cane sugar, so I'm thinking like this is pretty much equivalent. This is pretty much equivalent to raw cane. I'm thinking about sea salt. Y'all gonna have to excuse me today. I gotta get it together. I got to get it together. So hopefully, I had to add some more sugar. So hopefully that'll be all right. All right, but yeah. So getting used to a pair of shoes just because you spend a lot of money for the shoes, or just because you really like the way the shoes look on your feet. But meanwhile, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. Now, not everybody is going to put themselves through that. Not everybody is going to put themselves through that. And there may be some practical teenagers and other people out there who said, like, listen, if the shoes take too long to break in, if it takes me too long to get used to the shoes, I'm taking the shoes back. How about that? Either I'll get a different size or I'll get a different pair. But I'm not going to suffer. When you think about it, your whole body weight is on top of your shoes. So it ain't an easy thing. It ain't an easy thing to just ignore when you having mad shoe pain, foot pain over a pair of shoes. They might be. You ever have a pair of shoes where, like, on the top of the shoe, that's where it hurt? Like, I don't know if it's a tongue issue or a lace issue or whatever the case is. That thing is like, I don't know. Maybe it's like somebody has the top of your foot in a vice. It's hurting. It's hurting bad. But how long does it normally take you to get used to something? I've had some shoes that weren't very comfortable and then became extremely comfortable later on. So I kind of toughed it out. And the only reason that I toughed it out is because I really like the shoes. So I figured, these are not everyday shoes anyway. But it took me like they might have been shoes I only wore to like maybe like a casual outing or something like that, maybe to the club or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, I only wear these when it's time to get my little boogie on, or when it's time to look really nice. You know what I mean? When it's time to get fly out there, that's the only time I wear it. What the hell is going on? You got a leak in the jar? Shit. What's going on, man? My shit going on. I'm over here spilling shit and trying to shake up shit and spilling things. I don't like that. Clean up a little bit. Get right. The seal on the joint, bro. Do I not have it closed all the way? All right. Getting used to what you might not like. Now, that's the thing. When you talk about the shoes, you probably bought the shoes because you did like them. But what if you bought a pair of shoes that really fit right, like a pair of Crocs or something like that, but you really didn't like the way that they look? You really didn't like the way that they look. You know what I mean? So we talking about getting used to something in a sort of reverse kind of way. So other people may have said, no, they look nice. And you thinking to yourself, like, no, I don't think they look nice at all. These are ugly. Or it's ugly. Getting used to it. Getting used to it. This hold the fuck up. Hold the fuck up. No, this is just ridiculous. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. I ain't trying to be rocking out like I got a hole in my lip. Anyway, yeah. So, getting used to the way something looks on you. How about a haircut? Fellas, you can relate. You ever got a new cut from a new barber or something like that, or you tried a new style? Maybe you went from maybe you went from a haircut or a hairstyle that was longer. I don't know, braids, dreads, or whatever. And you decided to, get a low cut or whatever. You know what I mean? It looks different. It looks real different at first. And once again, people might be like, oh yeah, I like your hair like that. If, and in a way, that's like people telling you that they didn't like the way you looked before, but you know what I mean? You know, I gotta roll with the punches, right? Gotta roll with the punches. But what about you? How long did it take you to get used to the new way that you look? When I was a young cat, teenager, I remember I used to have a high top fade. We called it a box haircut in Philly with a box taper. So my shit was high, and like Kid from Kid and Play. But my shit was round on top. I didn't block my shit out. So I always had the round high top. And I decided to just cut my shit all the way down. I had never had a low haircut in my life, but I cut it down. And for me, it was a big change. Nobody had ever seen me with hair all the way down. And some people really liked it. You know what I mean? A couple of girls tell you that you look nice. You like, oh, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But then other people like, yo, what the fuck did you do? What did you do? So it took me a while to get used to it. And I wound up growing my hair back and just rocking it the way that I was rocking it before. This don't make no sense. It really don't. This don't make no kind of sense. I'm about to 86 that whole thing. Fuck it. I got some tea left in here. I got some tea left in there. I'm just going to do this because now this don't make no sense. Okay. Yeah, getting used to a new hairstyle. Ladies, I know that y'all can relate to that. What's that? RANA? Because that's not a V. So you some kind of guru or something? No, I'm no guru. Guru of what? And Beckett Seidner, or is it Sidner? What up, man? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Cheryl Halsey, always a pleasure. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming through. But yeah, ladies, if you've ever changed their hair, and ladies are always changing their hair, they might go from a longer style to a shorter style or whatever, and it's a big deal. I know we had a show last month, and we were talking about when a woman cuts her hair all the way off, there are often some emotional ties that went along with that, or that go along with that. Oh, you look like something like a spiritual guru. No, I've never been told that I look like a spiritual guru. No, what we do here is this is like a sort of like a self-help program. So we just talk about regular everyday stuff, family, children, love, marriage, jobs, community shit, neighbors, animals, God. We talk about spirituality. This is not a religious show in any way, but we touch on certain things. What do we call a necklace? These necklaces are called struggle beads. And since we got a couple of people in here, let's do this. These are called struggle beads, and I call them struggle beads because I'm a Gen Xer. You know what I mean? This is a 54-year-old beard. I'll be 55 in a couple of months, and I call them struggle beads because growing up in the 80s, it was a lot of struggles just to become a man, just to grow up, just to make it through, just to be able to be all right. So we made it through the crack era, made it through the AIDS era, made it through all of the racism, discrimination, the thinking that you had to go to college in order to have a good career and blah, 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 blah. We made it through. It was a struggle. You know what I mean? Becoming boys to men. Tank Van 2 times. What up? What's good? All right, so this is what we're going to do. All right, good looking out. RANA, or however you pronounce that. I don't like to butcher people's names, but I have to admit, I don't know how to pronounce your name. So charge it to my head, not my heart. And but what we're gonna do right now is, since we have some people in here, y'all can rock the struggle beads too. So this is what we're gonna do, because I got a lot of these. These are all cow bone necklaces. That's what they're made of. Cow bones. So, but only cows that died of natural causes. We ain't killed no cows just to have no necklaces. These are cow bone. I can put them a little closer, so you can really see the texture or whatever. So no wood in here. This is all cow bone. This is all cow bone. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna let y'all choose which necklace y'all would like to wear, and y'all gonna wear it, and you're gonna see how it's gonna look on you. Believe me, we've done this 1,000 times. It works. All right. So which one y'all want to wear? Y'all want to wear the one on the left? Nice. Or y'all want to wear the one in the middle? Or the one on the right? Which one? 3 votes, and that's the one we wear. All right. Okay. RANA says the middle one. All right. AB says this motherfucker look like a predator. Hold on. I got something for you. Hold on. I got something for you, my dude. Hold on. I got something for you. Oh, shit. I would have had something for you. Wait a minute. Oh, my dude.
Pairing.
Oh, shit. All right.
Bluetooth connected.
All right. All right. That's what I got for you. Yeah, you punk ass. Get your bitch ass to eat a dick. Anyway, back to where we were. So, Cheryl Halsey says the one in the middle. Spartacus says the one on the right. All right. So this is the one on the right. This is the one in the middle. And this is the one on the left. So what we got? We got 2 for the middle. The middle is winning right now. So this is what it's coming down to. The one in the middle or the one on the right. Middle, right, left. Please don't make this take all day. Come on, y'all. Hurry up. Even AB, you can vote too. It's your bitch ass. He said, I thought Arnold killed you. Hold on, I got something else for you. Get that motherfucker. All right, so nobody rocking with the one on the left? All right, that's cool. I need 3 votes. That's all I need. I need 3. Come on, y'all. Come on, give it up. Come on, where we at? The one in the middle, the one on the left. I'm sorry, the one on the right. Stacy White says middle. So that means we got 2 for middle. AB says none of them. RA&A says count mine as 2 votes. It's a tie. We gotta break the tie. Which one is it going to be? The one on the left? The one in the middle? Or the one on the right? What's it going to be? Wanna be ballers, shot callers. So the longer one you wearing. You know what? Fuck it. This is what we gonna do. We gonna do the one in the middle because this shit is taking too long. This is why I stopped doing this shit. It used to be taking too long. It's bad enough that we already have a delay. All right, so let me get y'all together here. All right. Get y'all looking right. Give you the ocular proof in case you don't think this thing is serious. Yeah, that's a good shot. Look at that. Y'all looking good. Looking good. Look at that. Rocking the cow bones, baby. Rocking the cow bones, baby. Yeah. Yeah, take a screenshot or give it what you got or take a screenshot. You know you like it a lot or take a screenshot. Yeah, you know how it go. Yeah, you was rocking on the Urban Therapy with Sun show. Yeah, ladies, you're looking beautiful. You're looking lovely. You're looking pretty. You're looking gorgeous. You're looking sweet. You're looking sexy. Brothers, you're looking handsome. You're looking fly. You're looking debonair. You're looking smooth. You got on your smooth wear. Everybody looking good. Everybody looking good. Take that screenshot. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so now we out here twinning, y'all. We twinning and we winning. We twinning and we winning. All right. So where were we? We were talking about hairstyle. You know, when you change your hairstyle, you change the entire way that you look. So how long does it take you to get used to looking a different way, feeling a different way? Because when you change your hairstyle, you may not like it at first. You know, other people can tell you that they really like the way that you look or whatever. But if you're not feeling it yourself, it's a tough situation to be in. Because you running around here thinking like, everybody trying to tell me that I look nice. And I know that they really lying because I don't like this shit. Change is hard. Change is hard. At least it can be. When you are feeling insecure or when you're feeling like you're not the self that you really want to be. You know, self-image is an important thing. And as much as people try to play it down, like it doesn't matter what people think about you or whatever. Well, the way that you think about yourself often comes through the views and opinions and the eyes of other people. So if you're not being portrayed even by yourself the way that you want to look, how is that going to work? How are you going to speak and act confidently out there? It's not going to be all of that easy. Okay. He said it's heavy though. Yeah. The beads. Mine weighs. This might be about 2 or 3 pounds. Easily. 2 or 3 pounds. Yeah, I would say it's about 3. Make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. Make sure that y'all hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. I'm your host, Sun752, and we are talking about getting used to what you might not even like. Getting used to what you might not even like. What do y'all know about having or trying to get used to something that you're not even really feeling? Now, we haven't even gotten into people yet. And there's a reason I haven't gotten into that yet. I wanted to take some time out to talk about some of the other things. Some of the other things that we might think that we have an easy time getting used to, but it's not always as easy as it looks. It's not always as easy as we may think that it's going to be. But yeah, getting used to a new hairstyle. How about moving to a new place? How about moving into a new place, a new apartment, a new house, or whatever? Have you ever lived in a place so long that you're used to the route that you take home? You're so habitually. Okay, hold on.
You have a call.
Hold on.
From.
All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna be right with you in just a second. But yeah, have you ever moved into a new place and you had formed the habit of going home a certain kind of way for so long that when you moved into this new place, you may have gone to your old place just by habit, force a habit. So you like, and then when you got to your old place, you're like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, oh shit. Maybe you were talking on the phone. Maybe you were listening to your sounds in the ride. Maybe you were just in deep thought thinking about work that you just came from or whatever place you came from and when you're going to go back or whatever, but you weren't even thinking. What up, K-Cell? What's good? Oh, you got a lot of feedback in your mic. You got a lot of feedback in your mic. You make sure we get that together before I bring you on. You good? Okay. All right. Cool. Simon says is in the house. Is Dr. Umar finished with the school in Delaware yet? Something tells me that when he finally finishes that school, we'll all know about it. Shirley Show, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. Shirley Show, the world's most precious and greatest pearl in the world. What's good? And Stacy White, what's good? How you feeling? All right. RANA says, what's good? Not marrying or having a small family, but it's hard to find a good woman who wants to settle with you, struggle with you side by side. But in terms of getting used to something, what do you mean by that? Like, so when you meet a chick, it might take you a while to really get used to her. She might be pretty. She might have a fatty. She might have the biggies and the fatty, just the way you like it. Face pretty, voice turning you on, have you all rocked up or even over the phone. But getting used to her personality might be hard for you. You might be used to girls that are one way, and getting used to a girl who is a totally different way, or I don't want to disrespect nobody, a woman who's a totally different way, it might be unsettling for you. It might take a longer adjustment period. And that's why I put up the question that I put up. Let me see how y'all answered that. And what up? What's that? Lean Vibes? I like the way you spell that. Lean Vibes says, are you some sort of preacher? Hell no.
Amen.
Hush it. It ain't your time to speak yet. Don't make me mute you. I can hear you. All right. Let me turn your ass down. Hold on. You see how people get, you see? Buttercup 25, what's good? Buttercup says, hi y'all. I don't agree with this poll. You mad? Sleep it off. We in this. That's my answer. Okay. So the poll question is, how long do you give yourself to get used to a love interest before you get mad and call it quits? Okay. So the first answer is 3 weeks to a couple of months. So most people agree that it takes that long. All right. For most people, that's their experience, 44%. 3 to 6 months, 11%. So out of 18 votes, what are we looking at? Okay. A year, 11% also. And 33% says, first sign of trouble, I'm out. Well. Ooh. Hold on. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna say, well. Ooh, yeah. Well. Yeah. Do people really break out the first time of trouble? Do they turn around and do the double? I don't know. I tend to stick around for a little while, see what's up with this child. Yo, sometimes the styles don't mesh and you feel like you done got into this crazy mess, but it's sometimes just a test and it might be the best thing. I'm feeling blessed. When you meet somebody that you're really attracted to, yeah, what is you back into? You might feel like you might need to give it a chance, but yo, the shit can't dance and it doesn't enhance your feelings, so you're backing up, asking why am I reeling? I want to give shorty a real shot, yeah, more than a whole hell of a lot, and I got to stick in there at least for a minute. I'm in it to win it, yo, I run it back and spin it, yo, rewind, spin the block, yo, what's up with you, Pop? Everything is gonna be okay if I give it time. And so I'm not trying to get out like I'm committing crimes. Yo, let me give baby a chance. What's up, mom? Time for romance. Yo, what's your name? Yo, if you really come around kicking game, it takes a while to get used to your personality. You be yelling and screaming, and it be seeming like sometimes you really just want to be heard. So I'm not gonna treat you like you are a nerd, cause I think it's absurd to judge you too fast. But I'm really trying to get all up in that ass. Well, even more than that, I'm really trying to make you my wifey and spend my life, see? Yo, so come on along and grab my hand so we can go strike up the band. We can make really great music, me and you together. So, and we gonna get through this really cold weather. It's kind of cold in the winter time. I'm up in Philly, but I'm trying to get with this chick because she makes me silly. And I be feeling all giddy when she comes around. Goosebumps, quack, quack. Yeah, you know I'm down. Down like a submarine. Yo, what's the deal? Baby girl, I'm gonna tell you just like how I feel. Gotta get used to it. So yeah, when people say that they break out the first sign of trouble, to me that means that they've probably gone through a whole lot of experiences that were disappointing to them. Because think about it. Why would you need to break out at the first sign of trouble if you had good experiences before? You know what I mean? In today's society, you know how you hear a lot of women complaining about the dating scene and all of that. Like, the dating scene is bad. It's a cesspool. The dating pool is a cesspool. It's nasty, son. They've been pissing and shitting in the water, baby. You know what I mean? And they expect you to drink that. They expect you to drink that. All right, and they says, is this a freestyle? I ain't write that shit down. All right. Okay, let's go. We got a call on the line. Caller with the last numbers 1132. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun show. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for holding. Thank you for laughing. What's on your mind this afternoon? What's good?
Happy weekend.
Happy weekend to you. Talk to me.
My mom could get me in trouble. I didn't want you to hear me laugh.
Well, when you speak into the phone, it kind of, but don't worry about it, though. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I had dealt with, like my new hairstyle. I usually wear my hair long, like to either my shoulder or to my neck, but I wanted to try something different. I wanted to go back to the way I used to wear, like short with curls. I had to get used to it. I started liking it as I got used to it, but I had to feel comfortable in it, So sometimes I worry about what people think about stuff I wear and do, but sometimes it starts from within with me. And then sometimes I do care about what people think, like my friends or family and whatnot. But this time I got used to it and I like it. Now, I bought me a lounger. It's a knockoff of Louis Vuitton lounger. And
wait. I don't know what that word is. What's a lounger? A
lounger is something that you wear that fits all sizes that you can wear around the house. And it was
okay.
Yeah. It's a knockoff though, but I don't like the way by me being small, I don't like the way it fit on me. And I paid money for that. And I'm mad because I paid money for that and I can't even get used to it.
Okay. No, that's real though. That's real because it happened. People who you said it was a knockoff, at least you didn't go out and spend like $1,000 for the shit. Because but you're not gonna tell me. You're not going to tell me that everybody who spends money on Gucci and Louis or whatever is satisfied with what they get. I refuse to believe that. But they figure like they may have saved up for a long time to get it, or they came into some money, so they finally got what they wanted and they got it. But I'm sure that it takes some time to get used to, actually having that thing that you waited so long to get, and that gives you that kind of status symbol. So, shit happens.
I'm mad at myself because I just don't like it. And then another thing, I have a type of certain men that I date. Normally, I would date dark chocolate men because I used to find that light skinned and caramel men was too arrogant. But I was getting the same result, and I wanted to try something different. Yeah, so I tried me some caramel. And I'm glad I jumped out the box because I was getting the same old thing. But yeah, I tried something different, and I had to get used to it.
Okay, well, what did you have to get used to exactly?
Well, I find that light skinned and yellow men are some of them are very confident, and it comes off as ego. Sometimes it comes off as ego, where dark skinned is very humble.
Really?
It's very humble. Yes, I feel that it is. This is my perception. This is what I've been doing with.
Okay.
Yeah, so I haven't had a caramel man since middle school when I had that fight with that little girl in middle school over this light-skinned guy. I think that might have been a reason why I wasn't drawn to light-skinned men. So
now wait, hold. Let me just slow it down for a minute. So instead of looking at the person, you looked at the complexion. So all light-skinned men act a certain kind of way, and
most of the light-skinned or caramel men that I have dealt with has been very arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. I don't know what it is. It's only one person or maybe one or two people that I have ran into that is very confident and not egotistic or whatnot that I would deal with that's caramel. And everybody that know me, they know this, even my friends, especially my close friends, they know what type of man that I would date. I feel like Tiger Woods, but female.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
Now, what would you say to people? What would you say to people or somebody who might say that you're color struck, and so you're not really taking a look at the person themselves, but you already have preconceived expectations and notions about people just because of their complexion? What would you say to people who say that?
I don't think I'm color struck. I think I deal with that person on how they treat me, and their color just happen to be that color. I don't just treat you off of, as soon as I see you and I judge you like that. I learn how to be careful when I make my judgments.
Okay. So, but I'm asking you about the person themselves. So let's go into a specific person. Let's say a specific light-skinned man that you dealt with before. How long did it take you? Oh, let me ask you this. Were there red flags in the beginning? Were there things that he was giving you up front that already made you, scratch your head or look at him a little funny or whatever? And if you
because I had the tongue hanging out and the eyes was red, so I wasn't looking for no red flags.
Okay, so what did you have to get used to if there were no red flags? And there are things that you may have to get used to when dealing with a person.
When like I said, I live in a moment. I live in a moment, and I probably could think of some things, but right now I can't think of no things.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then. If you live in the moment and you try to give everybody a chance to you give everybody enough rope to hang themselves, for lack of a better term, do you feel like other people have done that with you? Did it take people? Does it take people a while to get used to you? And do they allow you to develop and grow on them, or do they normally like you from the beginning? Or if they don't like you, they just drop you or stop communicating with you?
I can't say this. I never had anybody bail on me, especially the situation now I'm in. They never treated me mean. None of them never treated me mean. I never had a jerk. Or an asshole. Excuse my language.
Ever?
ever. No, even with the guy, none of my exes, none.
Okay.
And one of my my ex, used to get kind of jealous of my ex because he always say his lady, and I used to get jealous of that. And I look at him like, what was I then, you know? But then God allowed him to tell me that I was a good woman, and that, you know, that made me feel better because I know I was good. I was good to each and every one of them. It's just that in distance, they don't live here.
Okay.
You know, that's why it don't work. But I never had. However, my friend, my childhood friend, have had guys, kind of like, you know, say they didn't like her or didn't want to be in a relationship thing because she had felt sick and did her mean and stuff. And I felt her pain, and I was like, that's not right.
All right, but make sure you understand what we're talking about today. We're talking about getting used to something that you might not like. So we're talking about like when you're trying out something new, something different, something unfamiliar to you that you may not even really be feeling that much, but maybe you're in a position where you have to give it a shot. Like, let's say a new job. I don't know if you've ever taken a job at a new place and you might have thought that it was all right, but when you got on the job that first few days or a couple of weeks and you realize like this is not a really good place to work. But you know,
I can't use that because I don't work. So
I mean, have you ever worked?
I don't work. I used to work when I was younger, but I don't work. I'm dealing with my health right now.
No, I understand that, but you did work at one time, right?
Yeah.
And you got a new job at one time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can understand what I'm talking about. So if you've ever left a job, have you ever left a job to get another job?
No, I stayed at that job.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, how about this? You've moved out of your house before. You've moved from one place to another place before, right?
Yeah, I've been I was in my home I was 15 when I moved in my house. And when I moved out of there, I've been here for 8 years. I'm in an apartment, and I'm really just not getting used to my apartment.
Okay. So when you first saw your apartment, you picked it out, right?
I picked it out. It was my dream apartment, but only thing about it was it's too small.
Okay. So even though you picked it out and it was your dream apartment, it still had some things about it that you needed to get used to, right?
And I'm still trying to get used to it.
All right. So how long is it taking you? You say you're still trying to get used to it. How long have you been living in the place?
8 years.
I'm sorry, what?
8 years.
You used to that apartment.
I'm not used to it. I mean, when I come home, if I go to my cousin's house or if I go somewhere and I stay a while, when I come back, I'll be glad I'm here because it's my apartment. But this apartment is smaller than my house. My house is small, but it wasn't this small, and it makes me mad because I don't want nothing in my apartment, and I don't want my apartment being cluttered. And now I'm trying to find ways for it not to be cluttered.
I understand what you're saying, but 8 years?
8 years, yeah.
Yo, if you ain't got used to it in 8 years, it's a wrap. That is your home. That's where you.
I never, you know what? I still believe, sometimes I still can't believe I'm walking in a dream because I can't believe I'm staying in an apartment because we always been in a house.
Okay.
Or a two-family flat.
But you've been there for 8 years. It's been 8 years, though, Ma.
I'm still trying to get used to this, man. It's still small.
Okay. All right. Okay, it's still small. Okay. So I was thinking that when something is new, because that's what I told you. I said, like, when you're trying out something new, something that you're not used to, something that's unfamiliar to you, how long does it take before you get used to it? So after 8 years, your place is very familiar to you. Now,
I understand what you're saying, but it's like, it's still, small, So, and
Okay.
I like it. That's why I haven't gone nowhere. I like it.
Okay. Cool.
It's affordable.
Have you ever dated a man that was a different height or size than you used to? Let's say if you've always dated men that were slim and maybe a certain height. Let's say, I don't know, tall, 6 over 6 feet.
I have dated tall, but not real tall.
What's tall to you?
Where I have to look up, not where I have to look up and all they got to do is thump me and I'll be gone.
How tall is tall to you?
I'm 5'7", so maybe just a few more inches.
So 6 feet tall would be pretty tall to you, right?
But I never really. I don't know. They have. I just don't remember. They tall, but not tall. And I never dated no fat man. I don't really care for fat men.
All right. Have you ever gone outside of your regular comfort zone with any man?
A dude that was fat came to me, and I was like, just because of who he was, I know he wasn't always fat, so I made a judgment off of that, and I went against my better judgment when he came to me, and I said I'd give it a shot anyway, knowing that I don't like fat guys. I don't like fat. Every man that I have had, they always been in shape.
Okay.
And I just realized that.
All right. So dealing with a man that wasn't the normal body shape or style that you normally date, how long did it take before you got used to that man?
I never got used to that man because he talked a lot of trash and I got rid of him real quick.
Okay. All right. That's what I was looking for. We're talking about getting used to something. We're talking about getting used to something. So if you've I got
rid of him real quick, less than 3 months, and I did it in a nice and polite way. I didn't do it mean.
All right. So if you spent 2 months with him, then you still gave it a shot. You know what I mean? Like normally, if a person really ain't feeling somebody within a few days, or maybe even just a few conversations, like, all right, let me either stop responding to they calls, texts, or whatever, or block them or something. If you went a month or two with a person, you gave yourself a little bit of time to get used to them. It just wasn't. It may have just been somebody that you weren't going to get used to enough to make something happen with for the long haul. Yes or no?
Yes. I'm still dealing. It's a lot of things I haven't been through yet. I'm still alive, and I ain't been through a lot of stuff. I know I'm gonna go through some stuff. I haven't been through. I'm not a mean person. I never been through what you talking about. Even if I don't like them, I still try to be their friend. But that'll be all, unless they being ignorant.
Okay. All right. Well, nonetheless, you have tried some new things, and have got okay. Let's do this. Do you drink?
Yeah, on occasion. I want me to drink right now, but I ain't got it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, what is your normal drink?
I like my normal drink is I go to wine. I'm trying to get out of red wine. I've been drinking white wine because I'm kind of like burnt out of red wine. But when I want something stronger than that, I like brown liquor. I don't like whiskey. A lot of my friends and family like whiskey. I don't know how they drink that stuff. But I like brown liquor, and I haven't had none of that in a minute.
Okay, so if you so you drink wine, and you did you say you like white liquor more?
No, I like
You like
brown.
brown. You like brown more? Okay.
I would go to white liquor, but I like brown.
Okay. So has like the first time you tried white liquor, or let's say, all right, a particular brown liquor. Like when I used to drink, there was some liquor, some alcohol that I just didn't like. Like for example, even though I don't really care. Like I used to like vodka, but I also used to like yak. You know what I mean? So some henny or some brandy or some shit like that. But I didn't like whiskey. So like old granddad and Jack Daniel, I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. You know what I'm saying? So it was like if I was gonna drink that, like let's say that's all that was available, it would be a little harder for me to get used to it. But I would probably never get used to it to the point where that would become my drink. And like I didn't like stuff like Sambuca. I didn't like Southern Comfort. Shit tastes like black licorice to me. It was disgusting. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now I could drink it, but I didn't like it at all. You understand what I mean? So getting used to drinking something like that, it would take me a long time because I didn't like it. It really didn't appeal to me. You know, I would rather something have no taste than to taste like that shit. So so that's what I'm talking about when it takes you a while to get used to something that you don't really like. Like I already don't like this shit, but let's say, when I was drinking, I'm like, all right, so I'm ready to get my little drink on, and this is all y'all got. So bottoms up. You know what I mean? But I didn't like it. I don't. You know what else I didn't like? I didn't like taking shots. I didn't like doing shots. People like to do shots, and you know what I mean. They be having fun. Take a shot. I didn't like doing shots because you get drunk too fast. You know what I mean? And if I'm already drinking and then we doing shots, now it's blackout time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that was a safe way to be drinking. And I've seen people who didn't drink a lot and they doing shots, and next thing you know, they got to get dragged out of the place. They knocked out. You know what I mean? Throwing up in the bathroom or at the bar. You ever see somebody on the bar? Yeah, they head on they arms and shit. They all fucked up. So that's the kind of shit that shots will have you doing. So it's not something. There's some things that it's probably better that you don't get used to, but these are the things that you don't like in the first place. So you might have to get used to it.
Well, that's the reason why I can drink certain things, because certain things will give me a hangover. I know what I can handle and what I can't handle. Like when I was doing my thing, I didn't like bars. However, my family and my friends like to go to bars. I don't like going to bars. I like going to clubs.
Okay. Aren't clubs
like going more intimate or whatever? But maybe that's the reason why I didn't like going. But I was a club person.
Okay.
So I would go to clubs, and and like I said, it's to each his own, And the reason why I wouldn't drink, it's like certain things. I don't drink nothing that's gonna make me sick the next day. And I know my limit.
Okay. All right.
Ever since I was 21, I know, because when I turned 21, I had to have the little one and everything. I was like, oh my God, didn't nobody want to help me? Throwing up everywhere like I never again. And I learned my limit. And I learned my limit because some people got your back and some people don't have your back, even your own family.
That's a fact.
So, yeah, that time I had to learn the hard way. My mama made me learn the hard way. She was like, you won't learn. She makes clean up the old floors. I was like, ugh.
Okay. So
I had to learn. I did experiment, and I had to learn what I like and what I don't like.
That's true. And that's pretty much what I was asking you about. Like, now, have you ever tried something or had to try something that you may not have really been on board with, but you kind of had to do it? Like, have you ever had to have somebody come live with you for a little while until they got on their feet or whatever the case may be? and you may not have really wanted somebody to move in with you, but you wanted to help the person out, and
No, I never had that just yet. I haven't had since my mother been gone. I haven't had. Well, we had that with my auntie and my granny. Yeah, when my mother was there, and I ain't had no choice but to get on board that family. So.
Well, actually, you do have a choice, but you made the choice that you thought was best. But it's still going to take some getting used to it. You know what I mean? It's like there's an adjustment period.
Yeah, it took a lot of getting used to.
How long did it take?
How long did it take?
8 years.
My granny.
I'm messing with you.
My granny. Not so, because I used to live with her, but it was different when she came to live with me. Me and her was really close, so I didn't pay attention to how long it takes because that was my granny. So, but my auntie got on my nerves because we was too much alike.
Okay.
So I ain't pay attention to that either because, like I said, that's family. So.
Okay. Cool. All right.
That's the way I think. But when it comes to family, that's the way I think. On my mom's side, my family cool. So, it is what it is.
All right. Anything else you want to address before I let you go?
Yeah, just forgive me for laughing in the background.
No, it's cool. It's cool. No harm, no foul. It's all good. No problem. No problem. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you this. I didn't
want you to hear that.
It's all good. It's all good.
Nice talking to you. I hope I see you tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get back in time for the show. I gotta fill the ice box up, so I hope I get back in time. But if not, I will see you next weekend.
All right. Have a good day. Be safe out there.
Okay, then I will. I'm gonna turn you back on.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good stuff. In the course of speaking to the young woman, I was thinking like there are a lot of things that as adults we have to get used to, and maybe some things that make us into adults that we have to get used to. And you know how as you are crossing over from childhood to adulthood, there's some things that may grow you up fast. And they may be some things that you have to get used to that you was hoping that you could bypass. How about this? Let's just throw out some lists. Parenthood. How many of y'all have had to get used to parenthood? Don't act like everybody who ever gave birth or who became a parent was ready for it. Or maybe you already had multiple children and then you had to get used to the fact that you were about to have another one. Like maybe you had 3 or 4 already, on the female side, maybe you was ready to get your tubes tied. Instead, you got another one baking in the oven. So getting used to parenthood in that regard. And who's to say that you really like the first 2 or 3 that you already had? I'm not talking about or to anybody specifically, but like I said, let's not act like all parents who give birth or who have children wanted to have kids, because it's not like that. Should I've known women who was pro-life, but they still didn't want to have no baby. They didn't want to be a parent, but they also didn't want to, quote unquote, kill a baby. So they're not really ready for childhood. I'm sorry, they're not really ready for parenthood, but they figured that it was their divine obligation to go ahead and become a parent. And okay, and also, how about paying bills? There are people who aren't used to paying bills now. But one thing is for sure, when you are already swamped in certain bills and you already pissed off about the bills that you have and you're trying to pay things off, And instead of paying things off, you went and made another bill that you have to get used to. One bill that's very hard. There are two bills that I know, three bills that I know that I think are extremely hard to get used to paying. One bill is the motherfucking car note. That's not an easy bill to get used to paying. It's not easy. Everybody wants to drive, but people don't want that car note. And especially if your car ain't running the way that you wanted to run or needed to run or would like it to run. So you bought the car, you didn't know that you're supposed to buy a car, test drive it real well, make sure that it seats the way that you like, make sure that you can see over the steering wheel for some of the shorter people who drive cars. Your car should be tailored to you. Like it should feel like the same way that you would insist on having a nice, comfortable chair in your house. That's the way your car that's the way your car should fit you. But you may have bought what you could afford instead of what you wanted, and you had to get used to this little piece of shit car that you bought. It could be a brand new car and it could still be a piece of shit in your mental, in your mind, because it's not really what you wanted. It was just what you could afford. So you're going to drive it until you can get something that's more to your liking. But in the meantime, you got to get used to this car. How long will it take? It's not an easy bill to get used to. Car note is a hard bill to get used to. Phone bill. Now, we may be used to paying cell phone bills now, but when they first came out, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people was getting they phones cut off a lot, getting their numbers changed a lot, because it was hard to get used to paying that cell phone bill. It's not an easy bill because you had lived so long without it. So getting used to feeling like you need the phone wasn't an easy thing to do. Yeah, that is a son in the background. Yes, it is. And shout out to Sing. Thanks for coming through. Grown woman says, I don't think anybody is ready for the challenges of being a parent. Nothing is cut and dry. True. But some people are more prepared than other people. Now, you know what I'm talking about, because I'm sure you have known people where you have said to yourself, I pray for that child because they parents ain't it. This is not a good situation. You knew damn well they parents did not want they parents really didn't want to bring them into this world, but they did it anyway. Wasn't a good situation. Could have been a volatile situation. Could have been an unloving situation. Could have been an unhealthy situation. My brother from another mother, Norris Hill, sit back, relax, do your thing, Max, and chill. Good to see you, my brother. As always, as always. Tanvir, what's that? Tanvir? Make sure I get this thing right. Tanvir. But yeah, getting used to a phone bill, not an easy thing to get used to. Cable bill, not an easy bill to get used to. And you know that it was hard to get used to paying a cable bill because you had TV without cable. You had TV without cable before cable ever came out. So cable was a convenience. Now, it was a convenience that most people would rather have than not have, especially since, it's not like back in the day where all you had to do was have a TV and the antennas and you could get clear reception. Now you got to have, a converter box in order to even watch just regular TV or local channels or whatever. So getting used to paying a cable bill is hard for some people. Was hard for some people. It is. And now a lot of people have cut the cord and they don't have cable, so they may just pay for their internet. Maybe the internet bill is hard for them to get used to. Maybe those apps that they watch their shows on, maybe that's hard to get used to. Narcil says, I miss analog. Man, me and you both. I didn't have no problem with analog, cable or otherwise. We didn't need all this HD. Ain't it funny how the camera work or the camera lenses have upgraded way past 2020 vision? Meanwhile, most of us don't have 2020 vision no more. I'm like, the people with 2020 vision, I'm like, what y'all seeing? What y'all seeing? Because I don't, you know what I mean? I gotta throw the spectacles on, and I'm still not sure if I'm seeing 2020. But yeah, so it's hard to get used to paying certain bills. It's hard to get used to doing certain things. And remember, the title of this show is getting used to something that you might not like. How about getting used to a feeling? How about getting used to a feeling that makes you uncomfortable? Getting used to a feeling, fear, being fearful of something. If any of you have ever been really, really sick for a long time, where your health was very much in question, you may understand fully what I'm talking about when I say getting used to a certain feeling, because that's something that you really may not like. Like, I don't like the feeling that, I may not live a long life. I don't like the feeling that I could easily be hurt if I go outside without my cane or my walker or without my life alert button or something like that. When you have serious health challenges, yeah, getting used to feeling some kind of way is something that you have to get used to. And it's not an easy thing. And you definitely didn't invite that into your space, but it's there. It's there. It's there, just like a relative that came to stay with you unexpectedly because they got put out of another place and they need you to help them out by putting them up for a little while. Take some getting used to. You didn't invite that. You didn't want that. You may not have even appreciated it. Grown woman says, smart TVs are the devil. They are. They are. They are. They are. But it's a good value. So at least all you need is the internet. You bought the TV. You got a lot of smart TVs have some good channels on there. So you may feel like I don't even need cable. They be having some strange channels on the smart TVs though. They got BETs that you never heard of. Like, this is BET country? Like, you can do that? This is BET trap music? This is BET mumble rap? What the hell? Why would they make a beat? All right, well, yeah, I got the regular BET, but then I got BET acid jazz. You got BET acid jazz? Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at the BET acid jazz channel. Anyway. Yeah, grown woman, don't try me. I know you do. A lot of people do. Getting used to feeling a certain type of way is hard. That shit is difficult, especially if that feeling that you have has been going on too long. It was uninvited in the first place. And in order to stay alive, you got to get used to this feeling. And it may take you forever. You may never get used to it. But you owe it to yourself to try to get used to it as much as possible. So yeah, there are a lot of things that you may have to take some time to get used to that you don't even like. So what we got? Parenthood, paying bills. Let's go to the new job. The new job. How many of y'all have switched jobs at any time during your career? You switched jobs, man. So you left one job to go to another job. and you start this job. This job was a good job. This job was the job you wanted. They paying you the kind of money that you wanted to make. And unfortunately, for some people, that's all that really mattered when they considered taking a job. So you take a job because it pays you, because it paid you a certain amount. It paid you a certain amount. And when you get on a job, you realize like this ain't even worth the money that they paying me. Maybe, for example, you ever go from a job where you get paid, hourly salary or like a hourly position or salary position, like where you know how much you're going to make, or you control how much you can make. And you go to a job where you get paid off commission. Trying to get used to a job where you knew that your paycheck was going to be there every week or every other week. And now you got this job where you got to bust your ass, make these sales, or you don't get paid. Getting used to going to work every day and you ain't getting paid. Yeah, how long does it take you to get used to that? Because I know that's not what you wanted. Trying to get used to a job where you are not getting paid. You got to learn how to sell them products. You ain't never do that before. So they souped you up and gassed you and told you how much money that they could make. I mean, that you could make and how much money that they make. And you ain't realized you got to hustle. You ain't never hustled. You ain't never sold nothing. Well, you took on a job where you got to sell or you don't eat. May take a while to get used to that. Or would you just quit and go back to the regular job? Grown Woman Don't Try Me says, I've become more aware of things that could jeopardize my health. Amen to that. And Curtis Jackson says, who is this potato head? Oh, my God. Oh my God. You're so funny. You know, I got something for you. I got something for you. I said, yes, I do. You know what? Here we go.
They go another cornball in the chat fronting again. They go another cornball in the chat fronting again. Ah.
Yeah. So tragic.
They go another cornball in the chat fronting again. They go another cornball in the chat fronting again. Ah.
It's all good though. It's you know, these are just some of the things we got to put up with. But you know what? I got something to tell you.
All I know is y'all ain't getting nothing for Christmas. Don't even ask me. No, don't even ask me.
Cold for you. Cold. But on a positive note, man.
Yeah, you might not like me today, but at least your mom liked me. She liked me.
Yeah. So let's hear it for that. One time. Yes, I know. Yeah. You're too kind. Yeah. Kids, I'll tell you. But yeah. Just like, but yeah. Getting used to a certain kind of feeling, you know, loneliness, being unpopular. There are a lot of things. Look, Curtis Jackson. This motherfucker named himself after 50 Cent. Now, okay. I could take into consideration maybe his actual name is Curtis Jackson. But because he acting like a dickhead, wait a minute, he acting like a dickhead? Oh, hold on.
Damn, man, why always gotta put up with these dickheads? The fuck? Every time. Here we go again. Here we go the fuck again. We go another.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so I was right. His name is not Curtis Jackson. He said, actually, I'm 75%. So no matter what you're not is 100%. So you, yeah. All right. Okay, Mr. 50. you haven't found your Ja Rule today. You ain't ending nobody's career today, but it's all good. But yeah, getting used to feeling some kind of way. Getting used to feeling some kind of way, even on a personal level. It can take a while before you start to feel more confident, before you start to feel more expressive, before you start to feel better about yourself overall. And you may really resent the fact that you don't feel the way that you think that you should feel. And I think everybody deserves the chance to feel good about themselves unless they are trying to make somebody else feel bad about themselves. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. Please, y'all, do me a favor. One favor, please hit that like button. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. We do this show every day in the form of the Daily Go-Getimism show Monday through Friday. It's the Urban Therapy with Sun show on Saturday and Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On the weekends, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on weekdays. Yes, you heard that right. 2 a.m. That's how we rock. Okay, let me look at the results of this poll. How long do you give yourself to get used to a love interest before you get mad and call it quits? So when somebody starts showing red flags to you, or they're just not the way that you would like them to be, I really shouldn't use the word red flags, because some people will call people that they just don't like red flags when they didn't put up they didn't show any red flags. You just don't like the way they act. Their personality just doesn't bode well or gel with yours. There's no red flags. Like, let's say if you're a quiet person and you're attracted to somebody who's loud. Well, the red flags aren't that they're loud. The red flags, I don't know if there are any red flags, but they're loud. You know what I mean? I'm sure that they could talk quieter or be quieter. But if you bailed out the first, okay, let's go to the options. All right. 3 weeks to a couple of months. Most people in this poll have given themselves 3 weeks to a couple of months to get used to somebody before they call it quits. 3 to 6 months, 12%. Interesting. Now, this is out of 32 votes. All right. 1 year, 9%. And 38% said, first sign of trouble, I'm out. First sign of trouble. I said a 1 for the trouble, 2 for the time. Come on, y'all. Let's break dance. Smithy boy says, Unc, nice what? That's a 5 and head. I don't know. I don't know, man. Y'all motherfuckers acting different. I'm gonna keep it pushing. Cheryl Halsey, what's good? How you feeling? Thanks for coming on through. Appreciate you. All right. Oh man. Curtis Jackson says, don't get mad, homie. You about to have a heart attack. No, I'm not. Oh, he said potato head is boiling. Word. My brother, my mellow, my man.
You have a call.
Get on the phone and won't you take it to
Sure.
stand? What's going on, my dude? How you feeling?
You know how I'm feeling, man. T to the R to the MIC now. I'm just on the phone raising hell.
That's what's up. Yeah. That's what's up. Appreciate that. So what's good on this beautiful-ish Saturday afternoon, man? You know what I mean? You know what we talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about good stuff always.
Right. So we talking about getting used to what you might not even like. So we talking about how long it takes you to be able to adjust to something that makes you uncomfortable or that is not attractive to you or it might be just a position that you might be in that you didn't invite into your life, but you got to do what you got to do. So we was talking about parenthood. We was talking about getting used to paying bills. You know,
Jobs.
we talked about jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely jobs, but you can elaborate on that. You know, because I'm thinking about like when you leave one job for another job, and you thought the job that you were going to was going to be like the greatest job ever, and you get on that job and be like, oh shit. I wonder if my old job is still open. You know what I mean? You might not be able to go back to the joint, but nonetheless, you may have jumped out of the fat into the fire.
Mm-hmm. Like the boy Jay-Z said, fresh out the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah. So have you ever left a job, went to another job, and had to get used to that job?
I've left jobs where when I left the job, I thought the grass was greener. And then I just started seeing crabgrass and snakes in the grass.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where I was working at, I've been in the culinary industry for 30-something years.
Okay.
So I was a food server at once. So I was getting $8 an hour, and this was on Penn's campus. So I was getting $8 an hour, get paid weekly, plus I was getting tipped out every day. So Penn graduation, in one day I made $1,500 in tips. You know what I mean? And they had opened up a restaurant. Steven Starr had opened up a restaurant, and I wanted to work. I wanted to get back in the culinary again. I'm up here thinking that everything gonna work itself out. Little did I know Steven Starr was an asshole, and the people he hired was assholes. So I couldn't fall back and go back to the other gig because they had already rehired. They already hired someone.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you got to take things as a grain of salt. I stayed there until I was already working 2 gigs. That was my second gig I was working. So I stayed there until I just couldn't, so I got another second gig and moved on from that. But you learn from your mistakes when you, like even in relationships. In relationships, I give it about 6 to a year. I don't think that you can really get to know somebody in 3 weeks to a couple months. Couple is 2 months. I think that you have to give. If you really don't want to get to know that person, you have to get to know them from, give them 6 months to a year.
Okay.
And if things don't go the way that you want it to go, then you can make a decision, a determination on what you want to do. Now, if there are red flags, or if you are harboring situations that you brought from another relationship into that next relationship, then you're not giving that next relationship, the respect it deserves because you're dragging on. So now you're putting them red flags from the old relationship into your new relationship. Oh, I remember this shit. I remember when this happened. No, I've seen this before. And you can't go in guarded. You just got to put in your head that let's see if this person is not like that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the worst thing a person can do, and you tell me if I'm wrong, when a person asks you, since you're such a nice man or you're such a nice woman, why are you not in a relationship? What happened in your old relationship? I pretty much told you this before. You never tell a woman what happened in your old relationship, or you never tell a man what happened in your old relationship, because they're going to use that against you when y'all go through something. You know what I mean?
Why don't you just lie to him?
then that's the beginning of something that you don't want to do.
I mean, they ain't gonna know you lying. What they gonna do?
Huh?
How they gonna know you lying? They don't know the person who you was just in a relationship with.
Like, give me the lie. Give me a good lie.
I mean, it depends on the question. Or if they ask, all right, what happened in your last relationship?
Why you and your old girl broke up?
We broke up because we grew apart.
Oh, okay, well that's cool. And then they're gonna say, well, what made y'all grow apart?
Well, if you could tell the truth, or you could say we grew apart because we wouldn't. Shoot. If you were shallow, you could say, well, I was no longer attracted to her physically, and I couldn't take it no more. So I couldn't take coming home to somebody who I wasn't feeling physically attracted to anymore. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Might not like it, but hey, that's what happens. Other than that, I mean, to be honest with you, with me, I would never ask that question. I mean, I would never ask the question, and I'm not really going to answer it. Like, don't worry about, what. No, I ain't gonna say that. I might say some things as we go on. I'm not gonna introduce you to why me and somebody else didn't make it, because first of all, let's see if you are even worthy of me giving that explanation to. You know what I mean? So let's see if we right for each other, Miss Barbara Walters, before we get into this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like
Miss Barbara Walters.
All right, Oprah. Well, let's you did this. That my explanation may mean nothing to you in a minute, because you might not be. I might make the decision that you're not worthy of getting used to. But when we talk about getting used to what you might not like, that's exactly what we're talking about. Like,
my thing is that you have to, like my oldest son, he went through a situation at his job, this, that, and other. He had to get another job, and I'm telling him, listen, when you have a family to provide for, if you can't get the job that you want, you better take any job. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, a dollar beats a zero any job. I mean, beats a zero any type of day.
Well,
with today's generation, if you ain't doing nothing honest, you're gonna do something dishonest to get that dollar. You know what I mean? So you got to try to make sure that you're doing something to bring that dollar or them coins in the house. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing about it. It's like I told him, I said, listen, you better go to McDonald's, Burger King, anything to get a job. Why? I don't care if you're not making the money you was making. You're making some money. And while you're working there, you look for the job you want.
Yeah.
We all had to do it. Sometimes we took jobs that we didn't want until we got the jobs that we wanted.
But
sometimes the jobs that you didn't want turned into jobs that you like.
That's actually never happened to me. But the other way, it definitely has happened. But even if I didn't really like the situations, I might have still have gotten used to it. The thing is, you can get used to something that you don't like or don't appreciate. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. Earlier in the show, I used the example of getting used to a pair of shoes that you bought that you really liked. You might like the way they look on your feet. You may have liked the brand that they was and all of that, but the way that they fit, shit was killing your dogs. Now, did you walk it out literally till you broke them jaws in? Because there are some shoes that have to be broken in before they feel comfortable. So I was using the example of shell tops back in the day, Adidas Superstars. That's not a comfortable shoe. I was like, so you mean to tell me we all wearing these motherfuckers? Because they fit like shit. Same thing as Chuck Taylor's. It's not a good fit. Jones feel like I'm walking on the floor. You know what I mean? So, but people got used to them because that was the thing.
I'm telling you from the store, bro. I got a pair. I don't care how fancy a sneak is, or how beautiful it looks, or how much you feel as though you're gonna like it. I got a pair of Alexander McQueen's, right?
They look comfortable.
Out the door for about 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, the motherfuckers had me emotional like a slow song, bro.
They look comfortable.
Huh?
They look comfortable.
No, my brother. I got
you understand what I'm saying? Girl. They look comfortable.
Yes. Look. Everything that look good ain't good for you. And them Alexander McQueen are pretty much the female that you might think look good ain't good for you. I'm telling you, boy, I'm selling them motherfuckers ASAP. I would rather put on open-toe flip-flops, the swing ones, than to put them motherfuckers on.
And then what's them joints like? What they like, $400?
$400, $500.
That's what I'm saying. For a basic white sneaker. So
they
basically,
they look like a Stan Smith.
They look like Stan Smiths. Well, I was going to say maybe. No, I was about to say Jack Purcell's, but I'm like, no, they was canvas. Never mind. They definitely look like Stan Smiths, but they look like a more comfortable version of Stan Smiths.
No, bro. No, my brother, man. Them things were painful. Very disrespectful to the foot.
But now I think it's interesting that you paid all that money for them. You wore them instead of taking them back. Like, yo, man, give me my money back. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to do that, but I said to myself, so maybe it's something else going on with my feet that I don't know about. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the insole out. I'm gonna take the insole out. I'm gonna put on a thinner sock. Maybe that works.
I'm so glad you said that shit because that's exactly what I'm talking about. You pretty much summed up this whole show with what you just said. So exactly. So you was going to get used to them no matter what. Because and you know, I mean, I was talking about Gucci sneaks back in the day, how the original canvas and the original leather Gucci sneaks was comfortable. I mean, you know, they cost more than all the other sneaks, but they was worth it in a way. You know what I'm saying? But when they came out with the Gucci sneaks later, them shits was horrible.
You talking about the short dot Carters?
The original Gucci.
No, the original Gucci, yes.
The original Gucci's was
comfortable. On these. I would never pay that much money for them these Alexander McQueen's. Hell no.
Yeah, the original Gucci sneaks were comfortable sneakers. The original canvas ones and the original leather ones. Now, when they came out with the new leather ones that came out like maybe like 1990, you know what I mean? 89, 90. Them shits was ass. Them things wasn't comfortable.
A lot of people don't know the original ones. You had to go to Atlantic City to buy them.
Yeah, if you lived in Philly, you had to go to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And how many of us was jumping on that bus to go get them? Some of us gave money to somebody that was going to go get them. We gave them our size, and they came back with them. Had to make sure that you could trust somebody.
9 times out of 10, the people that was getting them was getting that guap.
Well, the original canvas ones was $90, and then the original leather ones was $155. Now we talking about 1987. So
that was cheap, and that was high back then.
It was very high, but it wasn't that far off from like Air Force Ones or Forums. The Nike Forums, remember, they was like 90 to 100 at Foot Locker. Remember, you could only get Forums from Foot Locker. Remember, Foot Locker used to have exclusives on certain shit.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain felines you could only get at Foot Locker and all that. But anyway, yeah, getting used to what you might not like. The thing is, we like the style, we like the look, and unfortunately the status that came along with shit. But the fit was horrible. Now, I don't know if you was listening at the time I was talking about getting used to a new hairstyle.
Oh yeah, oh no, bro. Yeah, I tried my best with that before too.
Yeah,
that was man. Listen, man, I fucked myself up numerous times trying to get used to that. I really fucked. I went up my boy Larry. He had the gummy. Before I had the gummy, I had a full head.
I definitely had a gummy.
I said, man, that shit look nice on him. Let me get the gummy. I got that motherfucker, boy. Look like somebody just came to smack the shit.
Oh my God, I cannot do this today. This is wild. But yeah, now that's for a man. We can get our hair back right in a few snips and a few runs of the clippers. You know what I mean? We can go. I mean, we can just go to a low cut or whatever. But when you've been wearing your hair long and then you cut it short, it's a big adjustment for a lot of people visually.
Bro, listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing, bro. When I cut my one time, man, I told you, like we had that you had that discussion about how women cut their hair off when they get depressed and stuff, and I said I did it before too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you right from the door. When I cut all my hair off my hair and my face one time, man, I looked every bit almost like Edie Amin Dada.
Okay.
Listen, not even give a fuck. Shit, when Onyx was out, I cut all the hair off my head and off my face, man. And I was walking around like Onyx, mad as shit.
I know you didn't bring up Onyx and cutting off. You know what? I can't.
Onyx. Low down, gritty and grimy.
Pick him up.
Low down, gritty and grimy. Right.
Oh my gosh. But yeah.
Right.
So
boys be boys.
But yeah, and some people might be telling you that you look really nice, you look great, but inside you thinking like, nah, this shit look crazy. This shit is ugly. You know what I mean? But you may grow into it. It's you know what I mean? You never really know unless you don't have the option of going back real quick. And hair is one of those things where you don't have the option of going back real quick unless you wear wigs.
And that's the thing about women. Women are lucky. See, women can go to go get a hairstyle, fuck their hair up, and then go to the store and buy a wig that match the hairstyle they had before and be perfect. A woman can be a different woman every day of the week for their man.
What if she don't like to wear wigs though?
Huh?
What if she don't like to wear wigs or weaves?
Yeah, that's the truth. But if you got that fucked up haircut, you got a hairstyle that was determined by some scissors, then you better jump on that wig. You better get your hair braided up and start wigging it up. Get wiggy with it.
Yeah. I also brought up moving into a new house or a new apartment or whatever.
I've been in my spot for 8 years and I'm not used to it.
I'm about to cut you the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? I see. And we only got 5 minutes left in the show anyway. This would be a perfect time to bang on somebody. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a perfect time. We not.
You gonna put a track on me, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like that fucking did it. We not doing this.
I'm not gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that.
We not doing this. But yeah, I remember when I moved here from my apartment that I've been living in for 10 years, there were times when I rode up to Germantown and Tulpehocken because I was so used to it. I got up there like, yo, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Just from force of habit, I was used to doing that shit. So if I'm doing something else, I'm talking on the phone or I'm listening to music or I'm zoning out, thinking about shit, strategizing in my head or whatever, I could wind up right back where I used to live instead of where I am now. And I've known a lot of people who have done that. They were so used to their regular route that when they had to change their route, it didn't always work out the right way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not something that I didn't like. It was just,
You were used to your norm. Your norm is that. You know, and sometimes you got to break the norm. That's even with relationships. Sometimes you got to break, you got to break the norm of the person that you are for finding that person that you want to be with. That's in a relationship. Even with jobs, you got to break the norm. Like, I didn't get into culinary because I love culinary. I told you I got a degree in electrical engineering, son.
Yeah.
I hate electrical engineering. I hate math. I hate it.
You don't hate it enough.
Huh?
You don't hate it enough.
I hate that shit. I hate engineering.
Okay.
I hate math. The only thing I like about math is counting money. Other than that, I still don't know why you need algebra, trigonometry, geometry, anything with tree in that motherfucker. I don't know why you need it. I mean? You need general math. If
you took up engineering, you done more equations than most people will in 3 lifetimes.
And that's exactly why I didn't like it. I took it because my grandmother made me take it. And that's when my grandmother, God rest her soul, she was like, we're going to go in the computer age. You better get ready. I think you should take this up. Right? And I took it up. And I'll be goddamn, it took me to, I'm glad I never jumped out of a window. But I got into culinary because I took a job that I needed and I wound up loving it. I needed a job to take care of my family, take care of my kids, and I wound up falling in love with it. So it can happen, it can happen, but you just have to sit back and humble yourself and realize, you're not, through these hours of working in this one day, in this one shift, this is about the dinero, the coin, the quan.
Did it take you a while to get used, even though you like culinary, did it take you a while to get used to that?
It didn't take me a while to get used to culinary. It took me a while. Once I realized the only way I was going to make more money is to learn more about it, it didn't take me long.
Okay. What about when you weren't making a lot of money doing what you do? Did it take you a while to get used to not make? Listen, for 4 years, I wasn't making the kind of money that I was used to or that I liked. And that was a hard thing to get used to.
Especially with considering the fact that y'all had your own business, you and your dad. So when you had to branch out and go and do that, that's hard.
It wasn't just hard because I had worked for other people before our business. So I've never had a problem following directions or even taking orders. I've never had a problem with that. Just the same way I don't have a problem giving them. But the thing is, when you're not making enough money to be able to buy little simple things that you want, it can wear on you. Like, I'm an audiophile, so I like headphones and shit. So when like Beats came out and I can't buy a pair of Beats because I can't afford a pair of Beats. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's a problem. Because even though $300 is a lot to pay for a pair of headphones, it shouldn't fuck me up. I shouldn't have to go in my savings to buy a pair, to buy nothing that costs $300. I shouldn't have to do that. My salary should cover that. And it would if I don't want to pay some of my other bills. You understand what I mean? So that's what I mean, getting used to not making the kind of money that you want to make, because that can make you feel like a job really is a bad job, because how can it be a great job if it don't pay you good money? It don't have to pay you great money, but any good job should pay you good money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a tough situation. So you leave one job to go to another industry or profession or whatever because you trying some new shit out. And that was the other thing. I was doing something that I never really wanted to do before. So doing a job that I really didn't want to do and then not making the kind of money that I wanted to make. And I still allowed myself to get used to this shit because I had bills. And I stayed there longer than I should have but now I can look at it like I was just paying my dues because I did eventually start making the kind of money that I wanted to make, but it just didn't. There was a hell of an adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
There was a hell of an adjustment period, and I wouldn't.
But that's the thing about it. You know, you have to be willing and able. It's sometimes when you can just be you, but sometimes you got to put the big man draws on and realize you're doing this to benefit you or benefit you and your taking care of your responsibilities.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, when I wasn't making the money I was making, it was one time I worked 4 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you know, my first kid's mom, because I got my first kid's mom, God rest her soul. You know, you can't work off time. You can't worry about time when we got 2 children to take care of at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta worry about the fact that we got that these babies are taken care of.
Facts.
You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It got something to do with them. They didn't ask to come here, so you gotta be more of a provider.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of them, and then you turn back around. Whatever you got left, you can try to branch off and look out for one another. But at the end of the day, back then when I was this is my 20s, my mid-20s, I didn't care about sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep was irrelevant. You know what I mean? I was doing that Jay-Z shit. I sleep when I die.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I mean, but at the end of the day, there has to be, you have to do what you love what you do. You have to love who you love. And if that person can't reciprocate that same love that you want, at some point in time, you have to have a conversation. Whether it's 3 weeks to a couple months, like you had on the question, a year, you know. I think me personally, I always say that it takes a year to get to know a person. It takes 5 years to make a decision on marriage.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
But do you getting to know a person and getting used to a person is different?
No, it is somewhat different, but getting used to them is somewhat still getting to know them.
No. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is, since we're talking about getting used to something, the thing is you can get used to something that you don't even like. Well, like look how many people have been in abusive relationships. They used to getting their ass whooped. They don't like it, but they used to it. You know, the people who are in toxic relationships. Yeah, they don't like it, but they sure as hell are used to it. And they may be used to they may be used to going from toxic relationship to unhealthy relationship to back to toxic relationship. They're used to that. They may not be now dealing with somebody who's not used to being in a decent situation. That's a problem. Yeah, you trying to show somebody how things should be, and they waiting for you to whoop their ass or lie to them or cheat on them or hurt them or at least be shady. So you got to be used to dealing with somebody who's not used to dealing with somebody who's decent. And they got to get used to you treating them decently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a situation here. But it's still going to take some time. We already overtime, so you know I'm about to boot you. But
let me get my last 2 cents in. You're absolutely correct, and I can understand where you're coming from. But I'm also add to that. You know, when you get to know somebody, that's everything. Flaws and all, smells, scents. Shit, you might love a girl so much until you walk in the bathroom after she uses your bathroom, and you be like, "Fuck this bitch, I can't deal with this."
Nah, actually, I'm cool. I'm like, now you just wash up. Now everything gonna be all right. I'd rather you get that over with now.
I'm talking about after she used the bathroom, not wash up.
I know what you're saying.
Listen, man.
Now, if she stink up the bathroom and she don't wash her ass, now I'm not trying to get used to that.
Like, get used to that.
I'm not getting used to that.
Man, back in my day, my brother's girlfriend sister came over.
Dirty ass
just
John.
met the girl.
Mm-hmm.
That girl came in the house. I just met her. We're going to introduce you to her sister. She nice looking. I was like, okay. I met her. She said, "Can I use the bathroom?" I had my clothes in there. I'm getting ready to go to St. Charles skating rink. You know where that's at.
I
So I'm
do.
getting ready to go out. Get ready to party, house party after that. She used the bathroom. So when I went back in that bathroom, oh my God, man. My clothes had it in it. The darn wallpaper started falling off the wall. I seen 2 dead roaches.
Okay.
Everything. But when I opened the bathroom door, I honestly needed a gas mask. That shit fucked me up. I never knew that there was an entity on this planet that can smell like that. I had to ask her, was she an alien? Are you an alien?
Yeah, she was funky like Kid and Play. She getting funky.
I said, in order for you to smell like shit like that, you had to eat shit like that.
Yeah, she definitely has some gastrointestinal issues.
and then every time I seen her in South Philly and she would speak to me, that's the only thing I remember about her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's fucked up, but yeah, I get it. I get it. Listen, she's etched in your memory in the wrong way.
Yes, you don't want that.
Not at all.
So I mean, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with that. So I couldn't even see her no more. So when I see her, I cried across the street. I waved to her. What's going on? Hey!
Yeah.
And then even when you see her kids, you be like, damn, I know her kids smell like that too. When they go to the back.
You know what? You gotta chill, man. You gotta chill.
It's just a trickle down effect. But love you, bro.
All right, man. Yo, have a good one. I'm gonna holler at you a little later. Be safe out there.
Did you hear about your bull talking about giving Diddy a pardon?
Well, he ain't been convicted yet, so we'll.
Well, if he get convicted, he's looking to give him a pardon.
I hope he do. I hope he give him a pardon. I want him to do everything so controversial that you just can't protect this motherfucker. I hope, I pray, please pardon Diddy. Please. So you can divide this shit even more than you've already divided.
He already trying to get the black young crowd. He gave NBA Youngboy a pardon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy, boy. But get with me later on, bro.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Right, man.
All right. All right, y'all. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious last day of May 31st, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special because they are special because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, T. DeBose. Happy birthday to you. And also Van Cooper and Shirley Montgomery. Linda C. Gaines. Linda C. Gaines is actually the blood sister of the late, great Donna Summer. She used to come on the show all the time when we used to go live on Facebook. Happy birthday to you, Linda. And also Bernard Adolphus. And he's raising money for the American Red Cross. And he's the last one, last but not least. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious May 31st, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember. Go hard, go for yours, and remember. Go hard, go for yours. And remember, if you're down like this, you chop it like timber. And everybody has to fall, but you get back up. And will it be a good time? Y'all, maybe yup, and maybe no. But I know when it go not the way that you wanted it to. You feel like, boo, we gotta work it out between me and you. Because what we doing right now ain't the thing to do. And I want to do something with you besides the nasty stuff. I don't want my life to be tough. I gotta treat you better than I've been treating you. You gotta treat me better than you've been treating me. You're meeting me in the middle. Yo, I'm like this. I got to get some things right before the end of the night. Yo, the fighting and fussing and all the cussing and acting like we going against each other like we ain't brothers and sisters. I know that I have missed the point, but I ain't even trying to say that you ain't the one or the way that I would like you to be. So please meet me halfway. And so we have something positive to say so we can finally play the way we want to play. Yo, cuddle, have good times, lay up under the cover and say rhymes. When I talk about the rhymes like, hey, boo, you are the best thing that ever happened to me and you. And so we going to do our best. And I'm going to do it like this. New York in 80. Don't fess. Yo, confess. Yo, please tell me the truth. Do we have enough evidence to show proof that we should better be together for the long haul? I'm talking to 1, 2. Yeah, I'm talking to all y'all. You might be in a situation that really don't fit and you are really getting tired of the bullshit. Well, if only one person is working and the other one is shady as hell and still jerking, that means that you might have to just make a move for your damn self and improve your emotional health. And the wealth that you receive is beyond the money. You gotta find somebody that you can call honey and mean that shit because they sweet as hell. And yo, are they the best for you? Do tell. And I swell. Make sure it get hard. Yo, I'm trying to give them my baby. Yo, I swear to God, I am tired of the games and all that shit and trying to use fake names. I met a John on an alias and kept the alias. I liked it better than a real name. That's a shame. Yo, and for those who two-faced it like 3 Geminis, yo, it's a Gemini. Yeah, you know that song by the... All right, let's get on about here. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all and love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow afternoon, 1:30 p.m. All right. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I want to thank all of y'all for coming through. Shah Malik. No, Curtis Jackson, fuck you. Nah, man, I ain't even mad at you, though. Dog. He said, you trying to be an MC? Dog, you's an ass. All right, Shah Malik. I just want to cover the people that I haven't covered. Lovish. Somebody else. Oh, Decky play-by-play. Appreciate y'all. Carla. What up? What's that? Nafi. Just want to take care of everybody that I hadn't spoken to. Buttercup 25. What's good? Young G, Buddha. What's that? Buddha? I don't know. Let me get on up out of here, y'all. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Yo, y'all be safe out there. I see y'all tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Peace. Oh, hold on. Before I go, hold on, man. You know what I mean? Gotta disrobe. Take my shit off. Have y'all take y'all shit off. A lot of y'all didn't even know y'all was dressed today. Y'all ain't know y'all was dressed today. You don't believe me? Hold on. Let me show y'all what we did in the beginning of the show. This was y'all. Yeah, we dress similarly around here. We get it popping around here. You know what I mean? Now show me what you can do. All right, bet. Muhammad, Peace out. All right, y'all. Peace.